Okay, Cardiff City are playing Leeds United at home in the FA Cup third round. It's finished 2-2, so it is going to go to replay at Ellen Road, which will be the first FA Cup match played at Ellen Road since 2016. Let that sink in. It's been a long time since Leeds have played at home in the FA Cup. Last time Leeds played Cardiff in the FA Cup in Cardiff, they lost 2-1 21 years ago, and then there was a small riot at the end of the game. That hasn't happened today. Cardiff City, issues with goal scoring, lowest scoring team in the Championship, for example. The breakdown of the relationship between the ownership and the fans led to a half-empty stadium today. Leeds always travel well. That's the online social media meme. Is Leeds would have taken 10,000. They pretty much did fill about a third of the stadium with Leeds fans from what it looked like. The game itself, tale of two halves. Leeds were dreadful in the first half. Cardiff were the better side, deservedly 2-0 up at half-time. There's a 6-minute spell where Leeds completely implode. So Jaden Philogene and Shea Ojo with the 2 goals in 25 and 31 minutes. And bear in mind, this is from a team that barely score. And they've scored 2 goals in 6 minutes. It'd be making the coaching staff at Cardiff go, why can't we do this week in, week out? Why can't we actually get 2 goals in a half of football, let alone a match? And Cardiff are struggling to score goals this season. Leeds don't do dull games. They don't do boring 0-0s, Leeds. There's always... Being a Leeds fan is not healthy for you, I think, is what we're getting at here. Because they're 2-0 down at half-time. They're looking dead. They're looking buried. The back line looks all over the place. I mean, they're all at sea. And then the second half kicks off. And they just throw the kitchen sink at Cardiff. And Cardiff stop playing. Cardiff stopped doing what they were doing well. They just backed off. They're like, oh, turn it up. We can coast this now. We can shut the game down. You can't do that against higher league opposition in a cup game. You can't, because they are going to get desperate. And Leeds got desperate. And as the second half wore on, they got more desperate. And they were throwing bodies forward. Now, Rodrigo scores his goal in 65 minutes. And that then obviously gives a little bit of momentum and a bit of energy to Leeds. And they really throw the kitchen sink at it. And this is where Cardiff they get deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think this is another part of Cardiff's problem this season, is they can't hold on to Leeds when they do rarely get them, because they're struggling to score. So they want to hold on to what little they have, which is not a lot when it's 2-1. And then Joel Bagan gets sent off for possibly the save of the season, I just add. But he's sent off for a deliberate handball. He does a Suarez. If you watch the World Cup in 2010, when Suarez stopped Ghana from scoring with his deliberate handball on the line, he does a Suarez, is the best way to describe it. He's just like a diving. You think he's done a diving, glancing header to clear it. No, he's stuck his arm out, and it's a deliberate attempt to block a goal. It's a straight red. He'd already been booked earlier in the game, and it's a straight red. Rodrigo steps up to take the penalty. It's not a bad penalty. He leathers it, and Ben Anik, brilliant penalty save. And I think that has proven the saviour to Cardiff, because I don't think they hold on if that goes in. I think Sonny Perkins, who does score the equaliser in injury time, I can't see, without that save, Cardiff getting anything out of this game, because they stopped playing. So they end up with 10 men, and this is where Jesse Marsh is throwing on the youngsters like Sonny Perkins, who gets the equaliser. It's celebrated like they've got the winner. He scores it right in injury time, seconds to spare, literally. There's 5 minutes of added time. He scores it with 3 minutes of added time played. So midway through added time, and it's a cheeky little finish. It is, and this is a game where you didn't need VAR, literally, because the referees were decisive and on the spot. And we saw in the Liverpool Wolves game, for example, controversy. We saw in some of the other games where the Premier League sides not playing at home, some questionable. That would VAR have given that? I mean, what was yesterday's game? I think it was Sheffield Wednesday, Newcastle. There was a goal in there that possibly would have been given, maybe 2 goals possibly would have gone to VAR. Decisive refereeing. He sees the Joel Bagan handball and he's off. Sonny Perkins, he's been played onside by the right back, so he's on. Very entertaining game, don't get me wrong. But unfortunately, Cardiff just stopped playing. If Cardiff kept doing what they were doing at the beginning of the second half, Leeds don't get back into this game. But Leeds don't do things by halves. They don't make things easy for themselves. They give up a 2-0 lead and they have to fight back to tie 2-2. That's their problem: is game management, intensity, and playing for a full 90 minutes. So it goes to a replay. So there we go, yet another replay. This may be the last year we ever see replays in the FA Cup at any round, because a meeting has been held by the FA, the Premier League, and the EFL discussing changes to the game, following obviously the changes that UEFA brought into the Champions League and Europa League formats, which means they're going to have to change domestic competitions, which may see a change to the League Cup and FA Cup, and replays may disappear completely. But there we go. Leeds will be playing at the FA Cup for the first time at home since 2016 in the replay against Cardiff, whenever that will be scheduled to be. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. What did you make of the game? And of course, we've got Chelsea, Man City coming up, an underperforming Chelsea side against a Man City side that does look a little bit vulnerable and isn't running away with the league title, because Arsenal and Newcastle are having a few things to say about that. That's getting interesting. So let's see what happens between Chelsea and Man City. But from me, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.